How are you guys? Who got a present today? Who didn't get a present? So if you got a present, just thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Oh, so bro. So why is it yo? It's only Tato Hati who got. It's okay, guys. It's fine. Okay. So let me see. There's not much admin to do today. We're just gonna get straight into the lesson. Let me get my calculator quick. Then we can get into the lesson. In the meantime, while I'm getting my calculator, can someone tell me what is a VAT input and what is a VAT output? So how do we determine whether it must be a VAT input? Yeah, so can one of you in the chat tell me how are we going to determine if it's a VAT input? And then can someone else also tell me or how we're going to determine when it's a VAT output? Because remember, guys, it's, as I said, this is the fundamental principle. Because if you don't understand what you have to do, right, to make it either or to classify it as an input or as an output, if you don't understand that concept, you won't be able to do the calculation. Because you can get the answer right, yes, but if you say an input is an output, you're going to get the whole thing wrong, and vice versa. If you say an output is an input, you're going to get the whole question wrong, even if your answer, even if the figure is correct. So in the chat, real quick, while I'm getting my calculator, can someone tell me what I said yesterday, what I said you must cram, or if you understand, tell me the way that you understand. If you don't understand, what did I say you must cram for you to understand whether this transaction, is it an input or is it an output? I'm coming now. Okay, let me go to the chat. Let me see. Balen is saying it's me who got a present for the whole week. What? For the whole what? So out of how many are we? There's 36 of us. You're the only one. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. What did you get, Balen? What was it? Notemba Makanya. VAT output is when you receive income or when you sell. Yes. That's one way to think of it. Yes, that's absolutely correct. So I did mention that one of the simplest ways to cram it is that when you receive income or when you sell a supply or a service, it's going to be a VAT output, right? So what is a VAT input then? Thank you, Notemba. 3 tutorials. Oh, okay. I'm glad that you could get a present, right? So yeah, that's our present for you guys, I guess, for today. So Fence is saying VAT input when we purchase or pay an expense or cost. Yeah, so you guys know most that a cost is an expense. Nah? Let's clear that up, guys. I know English chops, but you guys know that in what is this? A cost is an expense. So I hope you guys know that a cost is an expense. I hope you know that to purchase, it means to buy, guys, right? To purchase means to buy. A cost is an expense. So I hope there's no confusion there. So Notemba told us that when you receive income is money. When you receive income or when you sell, what is that? It's going to be a VAT output, right? Then Fence is telling us that a VAT input is when we purchase or pay an expense, right? Okay. Or when there's an inflow of goods. Yes. So do you see there's two ways you can look at it, right? You can look at the flow of cash or you can look at the flow of what? Of goods, guys. You can look at the flow of goods or you can look at the flow of cash. I crammed the flow of cash, but now I understand both of them, right? So for this one, you have to decide which one makes more sense to you, right? So, okay, let me share a document first. But I'm still going to explain this more. Oh my word, what have I done? Okay, I'll have to share my whole screen now. So this is what Fencer was saying. The second way that Fencer decided to look at it was she was looking at the flow of goods, right? So output VAT is charged by a vendor. It is the tax that is charged by a vendor, right, on goods or services. This is goods or services. So I hope you're taking notes if you weren't here yesterday, right? Or take a picture. Output VAT is the VAT that is charged by a vendor, right? We're still gonna get to what is a VAT vendor. But for now, please just know that output VAT, it is charged by a vendor on goods or services that go out of your enterprise to a customer, right? So this is the flow of goods and services, right? So if you're selling iPhones, that iPhone is going out of your enterprise to who? To the customer. That's why it's called an output VAT, right? Or you can look at the income, or you can look at cash flow. When you get money or when you receive money, it becomes an output, right? So once more, it is charged by a vendor on goods and services that go out of your enterprise to a customer. Hence, that's why it is called an output tax, right? Then where's the one I did for input? Let's go to input. So you see it's also the same thing. Input VAT, right? It is charged by input VAT. So input VAT is claimed by a vendor on goods or services that come in to your enterprise from a supplier, guys. So when you buy stock, it's going to come into your enterprise, right? We're going to get into what is an enterprise, right? So it is claimed by a vendor, a VAT vendor, on goods or services that come in to your enterprise, guys. So this is how you must look at it. But if it's still a problem, just grab what I said, also Notemba put it here. She said that output, when you receive income or when you sell, that is VAT output, right? Is that clear before we can start with the calculation? Also, on that note, can someone tell me what I said the table must look like for doing our calculations? Today I want you guys to see how we're going to do the calculations using the table, because that's how you're going to get full marks. That's how you're going to get full marks. So Blue, what did I say yesterday? How must the table be like? Or rather, yeah, to make this more interactive, who's willing to unmute themselves so you can help me in drawing the table? Who can unmute? Where's Londi? Londi is the only one so far who's unmuted. Must have 4 columns and use a pen to draw. Yes, Blue, yes. It must have 4 columns and use a pen. Why must you use a pen? We're not in grade 1, guys, right? And you're going to waste time if you use a pencil. There's no need to use a pencil, right? So you guys are going to have to help me in answering this question, right? So this is a question that I made. As you can see, I classified it as a level 1 question. Why? Because it's basic calculations. You don't have to essentially think. There's no adjustments. There's not a lot of hard work that you have to do. Yeah, right? So this is basic calculations, level 1, right? Because I only introduced you guys to VAT yesterday. So let's start with our question. Titan Traders is a VAT registered vendor in South Africa. Né? Below is a mix of purchases, sales, and other VAT-related transactions from their invoices for the month, guys. You're also going to see there's different VAT treatment for the source of the transaction, right? When the transaction is coming from a trial balance, right, there's going to be a specific way that we must treat that transaction. When the transaction is coming from the financial statements, guys, if it comes from the financial statements, there's a specific way that we must treat that VAT, right? If it comes from the invoice, there's a different way that we must treat it. But for now, let's just focus on the invoices for now, right? So also pay attention to these things, guys, because the calculation that we're going to do now, you're going to see we're using the tax fraction. Tax fraction is what? Tax fraction is 15 over 115. So for the calculations we're using today, it's 15 over 115. But if they tell you, right, that they got the transactions from the trial balance, for example, if you use 15 over 115, the transactions that are given, guess what? You're going to get a nice 0 there, right? And they won't even hesitate to put a 0 for you there, right? So please, as time goes on, please read this thing that they put here, guys. They're always going to put a message for you guys, So the first thing you do, you go and read your required. That's the first thing you do when you get a question. Don't read the question first, go to the required, right? Because when you do that, your brain is going to be working in the background trying to make some connections, right? Then after reading your required, what do? You come and read this piece of information that they're going to put here, right? I use highlighters because I'm a visual learner, right? So I use highlighters. You can also do that, okay, in the test. I actually recommend that you use highlighters to highlight important information, right? So they're going to tell you that is include VAT, right? Highlight that. They're going to tell you the source of the transactions, where they got those transactions from. Highlight that because all of that is important information. They're not just telling you that information to waste your time, right? Can you please repeat what you said? Which part? I've been blabbing. Which part must I repeat? Spencer, which part must I repeat?
I think she means the part, yeah, the invoices, yeah, the trial balance and invoices, something like that.
Oh no, don't worry about that for now. Don't worry about that for now. But what I was saying in a nutshell is that you must keep track of specific keywords, right? Okay, so without wasting your time, let me draw the table here. So let me see how many transactions were here. Blue said that we must draw a table, right? So I'm doing it using Microsoft Word. Né? You have to do it using your pen on your book. So how many? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 transactions. So I'm going to put 11 of these. Okay, so this is how your table must look, guys. It must have 4 columns, right? Okay, let me see. Blue, what must the table have? Do amounts from trial balance include VAT or exclude VAT? From trial balance, they exclude VAT. So you just use 15% if it's from a trial balance, 15% times whatever that they give you. But if it's from the invoice, it's inclusive of VAT, which is 15 over 115. But as I mentioned, guys, this is level 1 question, and this is introduction to VAT calculation. So I just want you guys to get comfortable with using the tax fraction. So we'll get to that. But to answer you, Malik, from the trial balance, it's 15%. From the invoice is 15 over 115, right? Okay, so Blue, you said we must draw a table, must have 4 columns. Okay, Blue, can you unmute yourself and tell me what I must put here in these 4 columns? This is how your table must look, guys. Even your memos, you're going to see after test 1, they're going to give you the memo, and they're also going to give you the, what's this? Your question paper, right? So what must I put here while I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to highlight this? I'm used to using Excel now, but it's fine. Okay, oh, guys, what should the table have, guys? I need you guys to help me build the table. Transaction, yes, thank you. So here, you can write transaction, or you can write description, right? You are writing what is going on. So as I mentioned, this block here is not going to have any marks, right? The whole point is for you to essentially show what is going on, right? So that number 1, you don't get lost, and number 2, the person who's marking also doesn't get lost, right? So that's the purpose of having this block right here, the first block. So you can say transaction, you can say description, or you can say line item, né? For this block right here, the first block. The second block, what should I put here on the second block? Second block, calculation or reason. Yes, thank you. Okay, the Z's are working hard today. Thank you, guys. What's going on now? Okay, transaction description, reason calculation, input, output. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so here you put reason or calculation. Guys, I hope you're also doing this on your notebook. Guys, please don't just watch, right? Input, output. This is how you must draw your table for a VAT calculation, guys, right? Then let's get started. So today I'm not giving anyone any answer today, guys. You guys are giving me the answers, right? You guys are giving me the answers today. Today, you're giving me the answers, right? Okay. So on 3 Feb, these are the transactions for the month for Titan traders. Né? So on 3 Feb, they sold electronic appliances for 34,500 Rand. So all these transactions are including VAT. Né? So they sold electronic appliances. So I'll help you guys with the first block. Né? Let me show you what happens in the first block. For the first block, as I said, what do? You write or you tell the marker what's going on. So you say sale of electronic appliances. So this whole first block here, I hope you guys see what I'm doing. This whole first block here is just for you to show what's going on, right? That's why you can say transaction description or line item. So sold electronic appliances, you can say sale of electronic appliances. Sometimes they're going to give you specific names, right? Maybe they say, maybe they're going to call a specific item, they can call it the JDX in the information. So you can come here and say sale of JDX speakers, right? So the importance of this block is for you just to highlight what is going on. So in my example, sale of electrical appliances, right? So it's gonna be a calculation. Where's this? Okay, can someone do the answer? Is it a must to write all the words? No, blue. No, you write one. You write the one that you're gonna remember, right? You write the one that you're gonna remember. So if you're gonna remember description, write that. If you're gonna remember transaction, write that. I personally write transaction, right? If you want, you can say line item. Okay. Okay, Zenver, do we specify what type of sale? Yes. Yes, you do have to specify. You're also going to be told in the information, right? So it's simpler that way to break down your information also for you guys, right? And remember, as you advance in tax, you're going to be able to just do them at the same time in the same calculations, right? But for now, do specify. If there's a credit transaction, do specify credit sale of JDX, you know, credit purchase of what, cash purchase, right? Okay. So who's going to help me do the first calculation? Let me show you. 34,500. So they sold appliances for 34,500. So what is the answer? What is going to be the answer? Sold electrical appliances for 34,500. So let me put it in the chat. Okay. Are you guys calculating? I hope you guys are also calculating. I hope you are with me, guys. Please don't watch me, right? Okay. Yeah, please also show me how you got the calculation, guys. 15 over 115 times 34,500. Okay. So the reason or calculation block, when you have a calculation, you come here and you do the calculation. 15 over 115. Yeah. Where's the 15 over 115 times 34,500. And then what was the answer? The answer was 4,500. Okay, the answer is 4,500. VAT input or output? So let me see, everyone is saying VAT input or output. And you guys are correct. Why is it an output? Because you are selling electrical appliances. That means electrical appliances are going out of your enterprise to the customer, right? Electrical appliances are going out of your enterprise to the customer. So when you sell, obviously you're going to receive income, right? Hence it becomes an output VAT. So 15 over 115 times 34500. This block, it's important because that's where you're going to put your answer, right? So this block is important because that's where you're going to put your answer, these blocks. So you don't put, if it's an output, you don't put it on both sides. You can't put it here. 4,500. Done. Then you just repeat the same process for all of them. If it's an input, you put it to this side. If it's an output, you put it to this side. This is where you do the calculation, or this is where you want to explain when there is no VAT amount, right? Sometimes here it's going to be 0, or this side is going to be 0. So if you come across a transaction, that's going to lead you to put a 0 here or to put a 0 on the output. You are going to have to explain here why you did that. But I haven't taught you guys that. This is the basic VAT calculation so that you get comfortable with the tax fraction, right? Okay, thank you. I'm glad you guys are catching on. You guys are actually fast learners. You're faster than me. I struggled for a bit, right? Even got chopped by test 1, but that's how some of us learn, right? Okay, 5 Feb, they purchased office furniture. They purchased office furniture. So what does that mean? They didn't have office furniture, or maybe they had office furniture. And then what happened? Office furniture came into the enterprise, right? At your home, you don't have sofas, right? SARS came and stole your car and took your couches, like Dr. Malenga, right? Then you go to OK Furniture and you purchase new couches, and those new couches are going to come into your house, right? So similarly, Titan Traders, they purchased office furniture, right? They purchased office furniture, and office furniture came into the enterprise. Office furniture came into the enterprise. Whereas on the 3rd of Feb, electrical appliances that they sell went out of the enterprise to the customer. Whereas now, office furniture came into the enterprise from the supplier, right? So they purchased office furniture for 23,000 rand. 23,000 rand. So what can you say here? This is the last one I'm going to give you guys. Then you guys, everything else you guys are going to have to tell me what to do, right? If we run out of time, the other ones, you can go do them and then send them to me. Yeah, so I can correct you where wrong and give you the answers. Purchase of office furniture, right? So also, as I mentioned, don't get too comfortable. Sometimes you'll never use this 15 over 115. Sometimes it's just going to be 15%, right? But we will get to that. So don't get too comfortable, but for now you can relax, right? So it's not always going to be a 15 over 115. Sometimes it's going to be a 15%. Sometimes this entire block is just going to have a message, right? Just going to have an explanation. Okay, so purchase of office furniture. Here, okay, let's see if the first answer was right. R4,500. Yes, you guys are amazing. So, purchased office furniture for 23,000 rand. Let me go to the chat. I'm sure you guys by now, you should have done it, right? So 23,000. How many marks do they usually give for this? VAT in test 1. Okay. Test 1 might be 40 marks or might be 50 marks. Right? So usually all VAT questions might be 20 marks. If it's a 50 mark paper, probably going to be 20 marks. Because you're going to have to do the calculations like this, like I'm doing in a table, right? Also, there's going to be some theory on VAT, right? There's going to be some theory on VAT as well. That might be 5 to 6 marks, 7 marks. So in total, VAT is probably going to be 15 to 20 marks. Yeah. Then chapter 1, module 1 is going to be probably 5 marks. Then the rest is going to be gross income. Also, it depends. Gross income could be more. But yeah. So if let's say VAT is going to be 20 marks, if let's say your paper is out of 50, VAT might be 20 marks. Module 1 might be how much? 20 plus 5, right? Module 1 might be 5 marks, and then the rest of the 25 is going to be gross income. So as I mentioned, guys, VAT and gross income, they're the big boys, guys. They're the big boys. They don't play. Okay, offense and blue, you guys said 23,000 times 15 over 115. VAT input, and that is 100% correct, guys. Also, don't stress about whether you start with the 15 over 115 or the number. You start with whatever you like. Because it won't change the answer anyway. So you can start by saying 23,000 times 15 over 115 or 15 over 115 times. I like to do things in a different way, right? So 15 over 115 times 23,000 is 3,000 rand. Then you just come here and you do this. Simple. You see? Simple. But if you don't pay attention to the details that you're going to be given here, you're going to get chopped. I'll look for a question paper maybe in the last 5 minutes to show you the things that you should look out for. Okay, let me see if our answer is right. Yes, 3,000 rand VAT input, right? So if it's an input, don't come put it here, guys. You're fumbling your marks. This whole thing is going to be wrong. Because yes, you got the answer right, but because you put it in the wrong column, that means you don't understand the theory. That means you don't understand the basic principles of value-added tax. That's why you're going to get it wrong, right? So tax follows a holistic approach, guys, right? Okay, 3,000. What's transaction number 3? Okay, let's go a bit faster now. Bought raw materials. Bought raw materials. So what must I say here? Bought raw material for how much? Let me see. 115,000. So the cost of the materials was 115,000. 115,000. So I need someone to tell me what I must put in all the blocks. It was materials, raw materials, bought at a price of 115,000. So can someone just do it there really quick? Raw materials were bought at 115,000. So what is the answer? I'm waiting for you guys to give me the answer. 15,000 rand VAT input, but blue, you didn't put the calculation. Let me see if it's correct. 15,000 VAT input. Okay. So purchase of raw materials. Don't write RM, guys. This is just me. And let me stop wasting time and just do it this way. Because you guys, you see what I was doing, right? I was doing this just to show you. But yeah, times 115,000. Then you guys told me that it's a what? It's a VAT input. So 15 over 115 times 115,000. 15,000 rand. Guys, if you're not working there, please start working. Don't sleep. 15,000 rand, correct. Okay, so we've dealt with 3 transactions so far, right? Wholesale goods sold. Wholesale goods were sold at 460,000. Wholesale goods were sold at 460,000. Wholesale goods were sold at 460,000. Wholesale goods were sold at 460,000, right? So I need you guys to tell me how I'm going to do the calculation. So here, as I mentioned, you just write what's going on. Wholesale goods sold, right? So let me see in the chat. The amount that they received for sale was 460,000 rands. So how do I treat this? What is the VAT treatment for wholesale goods that are sold at 460,000? 15 over 115 times 460,000 equals to 60,000 VAT output. I'm glad that you guys have actually caught on, okay? And you see now how it's going to be a VAT output and how it is going to be a VAT input, right? When you sell, when there is a sale that is made, it is a VAT output, right? Because why? Wholesale goods are going out of your enterprise. Hence, that's why it's called a whole thingy, an output VAT, right? So 150115 times 460,000. 150115 times 460,000. It's going to be 60,000 rand, and you must put it in the appropriate column, guys. So make sure that you don't fumble these marks, guys, because remember, if you put it in the wrong column, you're not going to get the mark for it, right? 60,000. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see if the answer is correct first. 60,000 rands. You guys are on a roll today, right? Sold furniture at 13,000 rand. Sold furniture at 13,000 rand. Sold furniture at 13,000 rand, right? So guys, please, I hope you have your notebooks there and you're actually working with me, guys, because the whole purpose of this is for you to get comfortable with the tax fraction and actually using the appropriate format. This table is the format, guys. Your life in VAT depends on this format, especially for the calculations, guys. For theory, you can put bullets, you know, you can use your own style, right? But for the calculation, your life depends on this format here, right? So as I mentioned here in this block, you just write what makes sense to you, right? Sale of, what a sale of what? It's a sale of furniture, right? So 15 over 115 times 13,000. So is it an output or an input? Furniture went out of the enterprise to the customer. What type of VAT is that? Furniture went out of the enterprise to the customer, right? Okay, 150115 times 13,000 rand. It's 1695,652174. So yesterday, what did I say, guys, when you see decimals? What did I say when you see decimals? The answer is 1695,652174. So what did I say when you see decimals yesterday, guys? What do you put? So can someone tell me what I said yesterday? And also, can you just unmute for time purposes? We are going to round off. Yes, you're going to round off, right? So because it's comma 6, it's comma 6. Ne? Where is it? Because it's comma 6, you're going to round up. Hence, your answer is going to be 1696, right? If here it was comma 4 or comma 3 or comma 2 or comma 1, you're going to round down, right? So I'm sure you guys know by now the rules of rounding off that we did in grade 3, guys. So it's 1696. The VAT output that was paid is 1696 rand, right? Please be working there, guys. If you're not working, please be doing this. I hope to see a table. Please have a table, guys. You draw the table and draw neatly, guys. You use a ruler to draw the table, not your free hand. You use a ruler to draw the table, guys. So I'm being strict with the format because if I'm not strict, you're gonna get chopped. The lecturers are very strict when it comes to format, especially for gross income, and for VAT, right? They're gonna be very strict on the format that you're supposed to use, right? Okay. On the 15th, mid-month, tomorrow, Titan traders, they are going to purchase new machinery at 69,000 rand, right? So this is how I want you guys to always think about it. When you think of the transaction, you must actually put yourself, right, within that company, right? So let's say you are the foreman, right, or you are the manager at Titan Traders, right? So you know that tomorrow new machinery is going to come in to the enterprise, right? So that's how I want you guys to think about these transactions, right? When you were selling, you were the salesperson who sold the furniture. That means you were responsible, right? Or it was because of you and your charm and your sales skills that you were able to take furniture out of the enterprise to the customer. But tomorrow on the 15th, Titan Traders is going to bring in new machinery, right? It's going to bring machinery into the enterprise from their supplier, right? So 69,000 rands. Can someone please give me the answer, right? So as I mentioned, guys, going back, these are level 1 questions, guys, basic calculations. By next week, we'll be doing level 2 and level 3 questions, where you're going to see that it's not going to be so nice and it's not going to be sunshine and rainbow like you see now. All of them are 15 over 115. Yes, congratulations. Thank you, guys. You guys now know how to do a basic VAT calculation. So please clap hands for yourselves and give yourselves a round of applause, right? For now, that is an accomplishment, right? Rome wasn't built in one day. You don't eat an elephant all at the same time, right? So, purchase of new machinery at 69,000 rand. So let's be fast, guys. Let's be fast. 15 over 115 times 69,000. Also, practice, guys. Practice. On a side note, let me go on a tangent here. If the VAT question is for 15 marks, VAT question is for 15 marks. The total amount of time that you must spend on VAT, you're going to say 15 marks times 1,5. Right?
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Please just check the lobby. There's no one who wants to join, right? Because there were a few people who messaged me saying, please let me in.
No, everyone's in.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, ciao. So, as I was saying, guys, if the question, right, it specifies that it's for 15 marks, you are only supposed to spend 22.5 minutes on the question, right? So when you're practicing, you must practice doing this fast, right? You must be quick when you're practicing. When you're doing maybe the 2022 question paper for AO1, right? Within 20 minutes, you must be done with the VAT question. So that's how you must also train yourself to do these calculations. Train yourself to be quick, right? Even another tip that I can give you guys, do it in 15 minutes. Don't do it in 22.5 because you are training it to do it. You're training yourself to do it faster. So by the time you get to the test, right, in 15 minutes, you will be done, right? So train yourself, guys. Doesn't have to be 15 minutes, can be 18 minutes, 20 minutes, but just know this is how you calculate how much time you're supposed to spend on a question. If the question is 20 marks for gross income, you're going to say 20 times 1.5, 20 times 1.5, and then 20 times 1.5. The answer that you get there is 30 minutes. But luckily, they're going to put all of this information on the cover page for you guys, right? Okay, did you guys do, let me see, 15 over 115 times 69,000 equals 9,000 VAT input. Okay. So purchase of, what was it? Purchase of new machinery. Then you come here, 15 over 115 times 69,000 rand. So what is the answer? 15 over 115 times 69,000. 9,000, right? Input or output is going to be an input because new machinery is coming in to the enterprise. New machinery is coming in to the enterprise. When it's a sale, right, the good or service is going out of the enterprise, right? So that's a lovely trick that you can use there, right? Okay, purchase of new machinery is going to be 9,000. Okay, let's move to the next question. We have 15 marks, we should be done. We have 15 minutes, I mean. Okay, provided consulting services. Provided consulting services for 57,500 rand. So now let's see if you actually understand. Because remember that VAT is levied on what? On the supply of goods or services, right? So a consulting service, it's a service. It's not a good. It's a service. Remember that VAT is not only levied on the it's not only levied on the supply of goods, but it is levied on the supply of goods and services, right? So they provided consulting services for 57,500 rand. So is it going to be an output? Is it going to be an input? And what is the VAT that they that was made actually? Let's see. So it was consulting services, 57,500 rand, right? So I'm being quick now, guys. I'm sure you guys get the basic idea now, right? So you guys get the basic idea. By the time you get to class, you should be able to boast to the person sitting next to you that you know how to do a basic VAT calculation, right? Okay, so you can just come here and say consulting services. This site doesn't have to be long, guys. This site doesn't have to be long, right? Consulting services. So 15 over 115 times 57, 500. And then the answer that you get, let me do it here, 15 over, I hope you're also punching your calculator there, guys, 57. The answer is 7,500 Rand. But where is it going to go? Is it an input or an output? I need 2 more people to tell me, is it an input or an output? Because when it's a good, it's more easy for you to determine that, okay, this good that I'm selling, this laptop of mine, I don't want it anymore. Let me sell it to Cash Crusaders. It's going out of my enterprise, right? But now, a service, I'm providing a consulting service, right? Yes, it is an output. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So remember, guys, because the good or service is going out of the enterprise, it's what? It's output VAT, 7,500 Rand. Okay, I think we're left with 2 transactions. There's still a lot here, Mos. Okay, let me just speed things up. But I think it's tight, guys. Let me see how many minutes are left. 8 minutes. Okay, let's just try. So, paid for advertising services. Say advertising services. Then the other one was sale of machinery. Sale of machinery. Then the last one, and you guys really impressed me yesterday when you did bank charges. That's when I knew that these guys are goats, man. You guys are legends. You knew how to do bank charges. First day of doing that. Nah, man, you guys are legends. Retail goods sold at 8. Retail goods sold. Okay. Retail goods sold. Right. Okay, for time purposes, let me just do this. 15 over 115. 15 over 115. 15 over 115. And guys, please remember, I didn't say that it's always going to be 15 over 115, guys. Sometimes it's going to be 15%. Sometimes this whole block, sometimes this here is not going to have a calculation, but it's going to have a reason. That's why we've called this block reason or calculation, right? Okay. Advertising services, right? So we paid for advertising services. This is also going to be a bit of a tricky one, I don't want to lie. Let me see. Paid for advertising services of 11,500 Rand. It was 11,500. Let me just try to be quick and do everything here. So you guys be calculating in the meantime. Machinery was sold for 5,750. 5,750. And then retail goods were sold 8,650. So if we run out of time now, I'm happy. The rest you can just do them and then send me the answers. So they paid for advertising services. If you're going to forget whether they got money for advertising or whether they paid, just write. Right? Make sure that you remember. Paid for advertising services. Right? Paid for advertising services. So they paid for advertising services. Is it going to be an input or an output? They paid for advertising services at 11,500 Rand. So it is going to be, let me see if you guys got it. It's going to be input. Yes. You guys catch on really fast, right? Also, when it's input, guys, I'm going to always stress this. Please put it in the right block, guys. If you put it here, if you're drowsy on the day of the test and you put it here, you're going to get 0 for that line item, guys. Right? So 15 over 115 times 11,500. Right? I understand some of you drink Shivas and maybe, what's this? Smirnoff to calm the nerves, but please, guys, don't do too much on the day of the test. Right? You're going to get drowsy, then you're going to put this thing here. Right? Then you're going to lose a mark. Sale of machinery. Machinery is going out of what? Out of the enterprise. So let me just do it. 5, 7, 7.5 output. And then the last one, 15 over 115 times 86, 250. It's also an output at 11 to 50. Done. Was there any challenge here, guys? No, there was no challenge for today. For today. Disclaimer, guys. For today, yes, there was no challenge, right? These are basic level 1 questions, grade 1 questions. For you to get to varsity where you are now, you started from grade 1, right? So we're also doing the same thing, right? So thank you guys for joining me on Valentine's Day. So let's go cuddle our blankets, guys, because all of us are lonely. We have no social skills, right? So I'll tell you guys when the next lesson is. Thank you. Love you guys. Sharp, sharp. You may leave the session.